So if you're here, come say hi. Oh, see, we already got a hi right there behind me. So come say hi. Just don't attack me, okay? Anyway, I wanted to do a quick video. You guys will have to tell me if the sounds okay, but no one's on here quite yet, or maybe one person's on. I forgot my windscreen, so it might be a little windy on the microphone, but you can throw that in the chat there. All right, so I want to talk about silver today. I need a little exercise, so we're walking the beach. Quick reminder, though, I've got my live stream coming up on Friday. Ugh. You guys, it's been a long month. I've got my live stream coming up on Monday for the channel's 10,000 subscriber party and also the 2-year anniversary of when I put my first video out. That's going to be on Monday, and I'm going to have to change the time a little bit. I have to put it back about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. But it's going to be Monday night, Eastern and Pacific, and we're going to have some special guests. There are going to be a lot of silver and some gold giveaways, by the way. And we'll have some surprises of who's coming on, and as well as some of the giveaways we do. But it's just gonna be a fun time. We're gonna talk about the channel. We're gonna talk about what it's like to do a YouTube channel. Is it worth it? Should you even bother? And I'm gonna give you guys kind of a breakdown of where I'm at 2 years into this thing. And I think it'll be fun. So bring your questions, tell your friends about it. You can already go to my channel right now, and you can go and basically put the reminder on there for you, and also do the thumbs up. That would help a lot for it. The more people we get on that video, the more gold and silver I'm going to give out. So, one, I'm hoping it goes to people that watch the channel on a regular basis. But two, there's just going to be a lot of stuff there. And if we can get it up to 1,000 thumbs up during that live stream, which I have not done before, then I'm going to give out a bunch of gold. I just don't tell my wife. All right, so I'm at Huntington Beach. Give me a thumbs up real quick, guys, or you can put a 1 in the chat if you can hear me okay. I'm covering up my microphone down here because it is windy up here, and I'm trying to block it. So hopefully you guys can hear me okay. It's a little bit lower than where I normally have it. So just put a 1 in there to let me know you have it. Hey, Space Miner, how's it going? All right, we sound clear. That's good. Annie Oakley, welcome. We'll do a shout out here as I get to the end of the pier, but it's still a little cold, guys, so you don't have a lot of the people in the water. But you do have some people in the water today. It's about 69 degrees outside. I'm in my shorts. A lot of people are in their pants still. But I've been spending a lot of time on the East Coast, so to me this is like really warm right now. But you can see down there, Huntington Beach. And that way you go to Long Beach, and down this way, you're going to go down towards Newport Beach, down that side. So you'll also see out here, just to kind of point it out, behind me, there's oil rig. I think, yeah, right there. And then you'll see some oil container ships out there. Down where I live in San Clemente, by the beach there, we don't have all these oil tankers. They're all coming into Long Beach. It's one of the biggest ports in the world. And a couple of years ago, if you guys remember, during the worldwide sickness that was hitting us, we had the big port strikes and we had the port issues here. And we did have some of these ships backed up all the way down to like Oceanside. They were trying to get into Long Beach. That was crazy. There were like over 100 ships out here just waiting. All right, I'm going to show you some of the surfers out here too, which will be kind of fun. But yes, so I'm going to throw it out there again. This Monday, I've got my live stream coming up. Please go to my channel right now. If you guys are watching this, you don't have to leave this, I don't think, or you can go right after it. But go ahead and bookmark it so you don't miss it. There's going to be a lot of silver and a lot of gold giveaways next Monday. It's the channel's 2-year anniversary of me putting out my first video. The channel's a little bit older because I was using it for about 1.5 years before I started making videos, just talking to people and buying stuff on auction. So there's that, and then we're getting close to hitting 11,000 subs, but the 10,000 sub party is also on Monday. I'm going to have a couple guests coming that I think will be fun. And then we're also going to be doing some silver and gold giveaways. We're going to be talking about what it's like to put a channel together. We're going to talk about where we've been and what's happened since I've put it together. I'll probably bring up a handful of older videos to show you guys a few things and just kind of remember some of the fun times of things we've done. And then there'll be a lot of Q&A for you guys too. So that should be good. And if we can get up to 1,000 likes, then I don't know, I'm gonna give away something worth a ton of money. I'm also gonna be giving away one of the Drew Brophy silver surfboards from PAMP, which will be fun. Here's a bunch of the surfers out here waiting. And yeah, it's pretty cold in the water still, so everybody's in their full wetsuits. And you know, the tricky thing with surfing guys is they can't all take the same wave. They're gonna smash into each other. So it looks like the sets are gonna take a few minutes. We'll come back. A lot of these guys have to kind of wait, and you gotta push your way into it. All right, so let's talk about silver, which is probably why you guys clicked on this thing. Maybe you clicked on it because you're in California. But what I wanted to talk about is silver a little bit. I'm gonna show you guys some really cool pieces of silver, large ones that I just picked up today, and I purchased last week. So I'm going to do that on the live stream on Monday. And I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit about why I bought that, but we're going to do that today too. So when I'm not making videos and I'm not working, you know, a lot of times I'm ingesting, I'm researching, I'm reading financial news, I'm watching other videos, and I'm just trying to understand what's going on out there. I've got enough invested in precious metals and the stock market and a little bit in crypto, and then a lot in real estate too, that I'm always looking to see what's going on in the markets and be kind of aware of it, and then I like to share that stuff with you guys. So I've heard a few people talking about silver being a horrible investment. It never goes anywhere. Some of those are my friends that text me, and they're like, don't buy silver, it's bad. Some of them love platinum, okay? We'll talk about platinum in a little bit too. But the ones that tell me that silver is crap, basically, they have a lot of silver, and they've had it for a long time. And so a lot of the reasons why they're saying silver is not good is it just, okay, that's too loud. It just hasn't performed the way that they wanted it to perform. They were hoping it would be at 50 bucks by now, maybe even higher, and it just hasn't done that for them, okay? So they have issues with that. And, you know, they're not just selling their silver, they're still holding on to it. Real quick, while I'm talking about this, if you guys can double tap the screen, like right here, if you double tap, it'll do a thumbs up. That'll tell basically YouTube that people are watching this and having fun. And then I'll come back here in just a second. We'll get to some of your guys' questions. Put questions down below too. Put those in cap is a little easier for me to see. If you can't do that, just throw them in there and we'll do our best. Okay, so with silver, here's my take on it. It's a lot less expensive than gold. It is the most manipulated metal on the planet, and I would say commodity on the planet. And it's something that that you can still buy, you know, pretty easily. It has been a monetary metal for thousands of years. And right now we're finding more and more uses every year for silver as a industrial metal. And so, you know, if we go into things like a recession where people are buying fewer goods and products and stuff, you can see a little bit of that demand go down. However, we're continuing to see more and more demand around solar panels, around batteries, whether they go in EVs or on a house. Just about everybody's got a cell phone and a computer these days, and it goes into those too. So I really don't see a massive, you know, decline happening from the, all right, real quick, see if you guys can watch this behind me. Let's see if I get it to turn. Oh, like I didn't really catch it. Okay. So you could see a little bit of decline in the short term, but I don't think it's going to be anything that is going to really affect the price of silver. On the flip side, I think if President Trump can unlock um, all the money that I have to send in for my income tax, if he can unlock that and start sending that back, I can tell you I'm going to invest it. And if I start investing that money, I'm going to look for good investments. That's going to start to put more money out there for people to create more companies, more products, figure out new ways to do things. We might have a little short-term issue, but I think we have a potential here soon to have a massive upside. And when that upside happens, I think you're going to see silver have even more demand, and I think that's where you're going to start to see problems with the paper silver that's out there. Ooh, that's one of the guests that are coming on Monday, just confirmed, wants the link. It's going to be awesome, guys. So I think silver is going up. I don't really think it's going to be going down. I just bought a bunch of silver recently, added a lot of it to my stack. When I got started, I started off with gold, and I still prefer gold over silver, but it's getting harder to buy the gold right now. It's just getting super expensive. I had a really hard time mentally, psychologically, buying any gold over $2,000. That was really, really hard for me. And I'm going to see if I can let you guys kind of watch the surfers while I'm talking. So I had a really hard time with that. And, I was flipping some gold to make some short-term profits to some friends. And, I was selling at $21.50, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't believe they're buying it at this. It's going to go back down. It didn't go back down. I ended up having to buy my gold back at about $22.50, $2,300 or so. And so, instead of making money, I lost a little bit of my money on that. And that kind of taught me a lesson. If I'm going to flip stuff, and I want to hold on to the metals, it's best to buy, right then too. So don't sell unless you have something less. You can buy it for less. And I've done coin shows. So when I do the coin shows, we're buying it 4 to 5% below spot these days because the premiums have kind of fallen all off. And then when we're selling that metal back at the show, oftentimes we're selling it at spot or just a little bit below spot. So, keep in mind the real price of a silver coin really comes down to the spot plus or minus the premium. Okay, the spot price really isn't necessarily the price. Now, I got this from the friend that I just picked up silver from today, and this is interesting. I want you guys to tell me what you notice about this coin. Okay, I'm going to leave it up here for a second. So there's something about this coin that I want you guys to pick up on. And I want you to notice that and tell me in the comments here, and we'll get to that in just a second. But is there anything wrong with this coin? Is it a perfect coin? It does have a missing reed. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, right there. But anyway, he gave that coin to me, and it didn't perfectly read right on everything he went through. But it passed everything but one test. So I want to see what you guys think there. Does that look real? Does it look fake to you? Would you know the difference? And I'll tell you the interesting thing is my gut told me the difference the second that I saw it. But it could have been the light that I was looking at. But I've also looked at a lot of eagles. But I think that's important for you guys to look at those things. So I'm going to come back to that in just a second. But as far as silver goes right now, I'm buying. I am also selling. So what I'm in the process of doing is taking a bunch of the coins that I have purchased in the past from different online auctions from a lot of our friends that we might buy stuff from. I'm taking the coins that I don't love, that I don't want to just hold on to forever. And I'm starting to put those on eBay. I've taken a lot of them to the coin shows, Long Beach Coin Show, and I've sold a lot of them. And one of the reasons I'm doing this is I'm trying to sell them for not necessarily what I bought them for, okay? I'm not necessarily doing that. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to sell them for enough money that I can start to grow the amount of weight I have, okay? So if I have a coin that I can sell for $100 that's an ounce, and it's having a hard time selling, and I can sell it for 85 or $90 an ounce, I'm going to pick up more ounces, okay? So if I don't love it, that's what I'm doing. I'm not worrying too much about what I paid for it. One of the reasons for that is I have a business. I can have it be sold as a business loss, and I can take a loss from that. For you guys, talk to your CPAs or your accountants, and if you don't have an accountant, go look it up on the internet. I can't tell you any kind of accounting advice, and I also can't tell you any financial advice either. But I'm doing that to get more ounces right now. Now, some of my coins I love so much, I don't really care what I paid for them. I want to keep them and hold on to them. And so that can be pretty cool. But I'm trying to get more ounces right now. And so what I'm going to show you guys on Monday as far as what I recently bought, a lot of that comes down to me selling some other products that I'm now wanting to rebuy. Since I bought last week, the price has come down a little bit. It's come down maybe $1 an ounce. But I am still significantly lower on the price I paid for that than buying that retail from anywhere. So we're going to talk about that because I think that's pretty cool too. I'll tell you guys how much I paid for it. And anyway, try to give you a little bit of my secrets. Not everyone. I can't give you every secret, but I'll give you as many as I can. But I'm buying. I think silver is going to go up. So what I look at it right now is, we had a good run last week on silver, up. And then at the end of the week, we had the plunge protection team come and basically slam it back down like they like to do every stinking week. There will be a time where the banks cannot do that anymore. There'll be so much demand. It is going to break on them, and they're going to have to cover their short by buying a bunch of silver call contracts, as well as probably buying more physical silver. And when they do that, they're going to let it ride up. So I really don't think a $40 silver is very far away. Our ratio got down into like the 88 in the last 2 weeks, and now it's back up to 91. And I will say there's a chance that we're going to see a ratio of 100 before this thing's over, before we see it go back down to, say, 70, 60, somewhere around there. We could see a ratio of 100. So don't be alarmed if you see that. I will tell you that anything over 80, it's a good buy to buy silver over gold if you're considering both of those metals and you're trying to figure out which one's a better buy for me right now. I'd go with the silver. And the reason for that is you're getting more ounces of silver per ounce of gold, okay? So, I'm not going to tell you which one to buy, but I'm going to tell you that if you're wanting to buy both and you're in the market, you're going to get more bang for your buck with the silver. Now, when it gets up to 90, it's even better. And if we get up to 100 and you guys are buying a bunch of gold and not silver, then you're kind of doing that whole thing of fear, and you're worried about like silver is never going to go down, and it's only going to keep going up as far as the ratio goes, and the price is going to be suppressed forever and ever. These things will break. They will break. I promise you that. Okay, they're going to break, and when they break, you're going to see your silver go skyrocketing. So I'm not here to pump silver. Okay, I'm not trying to be a crypto pumper guy here and telling you some crazy price and a date when it's going to happen. What I'm telling you is economics, okay? Economics, it's universal principles. When you take a metal spring and you compress it down very, very tight for a long, long time, okay? Eventually it's gonna spring up. And the tighter that you wind that, the more energy is stored in there that's gonna come out when it finally snaps. So it's going to happen. I'm not buying gold and silver, and I do not recommend buying gold and silver because you're looking for a price up here when the price is down here. Don't do that. You buy it for the right reasons, okay? And then you don't have problems. So first off, I'll give you a couple quick things, and we're going to go to the comments. So number one, you don't want to sell your gold and silver at the wrong time. You always need to have cash on hand, okay? And cash on hand does not mean sitting in the bank. It means sitting in a vault, sitting in a safe, or another safe, undisclosed location. Um, for me, in times like this, my ideal situation is to have of my investable income or my investable funds, okay, liquid funds, let's call it, okay. So not including my house, not including my 401k, not including retirement or my cars or any of that stuff. Just looking at the amount of cash I have, I can invest. I like 30% in cash right now, okay? If we were to see a market crash drastically happen here, like let's say a correction is 20% or less, anything 30% or more in the stock market is a crash. If we see a crash of 30% or more, then what I'm going to tell you guys is you want to have cash on hand to buy stuff, okay? All right, I'm going to set this on here so I don't have to hold it. Let's see if we can make this work. All right, there we go. Come here. All right, let's make it easier for me to read your comments in a second. Hopefully it doesn't shake around too much. All right, so look at this, my hair, I don't know. It's getting all curly now. I'm back to California. It's doing these weird things. So I like to have 30% cash around. Okay. The other thing I like to do is right now, I'd like to be somewhere between 5 and 20% in precious metals. That's me. I'm more of a cautious person when the situations are looking like this, kind of direly. With that said, I do still make riskier things, like I will invest in startup companies. I'll invest in a new business, like doing a channel like this. And, I'll take my risks there. I don't want to take my risks on, some penny stocks, okay? So the other thing I'll tell you about stocks is I do have some stocks. Not a lot of them, but I do have some. I've been buying up some metals, mining stocks last week. And I'm looking at getting into a new service where you guys can subscribe and see what I'm doing for my investments. I need to read through the legal stuff this weekend. And then if it works out, I'll sign up for that, and it'll offer some coaching for you guys. And I got to figure out how to make the price up for that and make it something that'll help you guys. But I do have some
swimmers on the north side of the pier. There are strong currents next to the pier. Please move away from the pier. Walk into shore.
There's currents.
Move down to the
it's
open
an ocean.
lifeguard tower.
There's always currents here.
Please do not swim or wade in this area today.
Whatever. Lifeguards all being weird. You guys go ahead and hit the double tap that for the thumbs up. That'll wake more people up to this so we can get more people in here to help them. Okay, so I like 30% cash. I like 5 to 10, 20% in precious metals. I think it's okay to have a decent percentage in the stock market. We're seeing some corrections. We're seeing really frothy prices in the tech side of things and the AI side. So I am a little bit nervous. I'm in a blockout period of stock for the company I work for. And I've just seen my stock go down 30%. I'm not happy about it. We had great earnings, but our forward projections were a little less than what the market wanted. And we had a 30% crash overnight. And then that was the next day that I could sell stock if I wanted to. I got destroyed. It sucks. So I'm gonna wait and hold on to that because I've already gotten a 30% correction. The correction already happened on me, so I'm gonna wait it out. If you're in heavy and tech stocks, watch those carefully, and do your research and homework there. I think dividend stocks could be good to be in, and I also like to look at other kinds of investments that are out there, like real estate. You may have the opportunity to put money into a business. I mean, honestly, where I have made majority of my wealth is coming through businesses. It's from selling a business, it's from building a business, creating value out of nothing, or taking over a business. That's where I've made my money. I am not making my money by investing, okay? Investing is where I put my money I make. And what I do with my investing is I get that money to continue to grow for me. If you guys have not listened to the audiobook or read the book of The Richest Man in Babylon, go do that this week, okay? I'm gonna give you a couple quick bucks, then we're gonna come to this, I promise. Richest Man in Babylon, go get that thing, okay? Next one, Millionaire Next Door, okay? Robert Kiyosaki, it's a good book. I know some people accuse him of making the whole story up. I don't care, I don't know. I don't know if he made it up or not. He still talks about his rich and poor dad, so maybe it's embellished, but it's a good book. Go read it anyway. Good story. The other one is Millionaire Next Door. I guess it's Rich Dad Poor Dad is what it's called. Then Millionaire Next Door. That one's really good. That teaches you things like if you're going to buy a car, buy a used car, or if you're going to buy a new one, hold it for 8 years to get your value. Okay. So, and hopefully you guys can hear me okay still. That's what I look at with investing. I do get a little bit nervous that I hear from a lot of people that all they're doing is buying gold and silver. And, you know, it's important to have gold and silver, I believe, right now. And I think it's going to be even more important in the future. Or I wouldn't have a channel on this. I'd have a channel on stocks or cash or something else. And at the same time, there's times to be in cash, guys. There's times where it's good to be in cash. But here's the issue. If you buy too much gold and silver and you don't have enough cash reserves and your dishwasher breaks or your refrigerator breaks or your car has a major problem, you're either going to go into debt or you're going to have to sell some of your gold and silver if that's all you have. It's better to have some cash to do that, because what can happen is we can be in a cycle where silver and gold are down 5 or 10% or 15% in the bull run, and you know, in the next 3 or 4 weeks it's going to go up by 30%. You don't want to be selling at the wrong time. All right, I'm gonna take these off so I can read your guys' comments better. Okay, let's see what we got here. We're gonna do this backwards. I'm gonna start right here and we're gonna go up because, I don't know, I just decided to do that. Richard Roche. Surfer, have you heard CBDC goes active in EU in October? Also, they are looking at using savings to back the $800 defense investment bond. I haven't yet. You'll have to send me an article on that. What I did hear is Donald Trump just did an executive order on Thursday that's basically giving wartime powers for us to basically unleash the ability to mine precious metals, base metals, and rare earth minerals on federal lands. And so right now, about 70% of our I guess you would call them rare earth minerals or metals, are imported, okay? And most of that's coming from China and Russia. And that's a huge problem. So we're opening that up. There's gonna be a lot more of that that's going on, guys, and they're gonna find gold and silver in some of those places too. So I did read that the other day too. What are the possibilities? How's it going? All right. So Chef Stacker LA says that this eagle was real. I'm looking at it right now. Let's see. I didn't have my glasses that I could really see that well. I am going to test it. All right. But when I first saw this, something seemed really off to me. It didn't look right. That's kind of what my gut told me looking at it. But I will tell you, I've had a handful of fakes in my hand. And usually what you see in the fakes, just so you guys are aware of, is the rays here are usually a little thicker than they should be, and the lettering is usually a little thicker. The other thing is the stars in the, I don't know, cape. What is that thing? It's like a robe, a cape. The stars there look off in most of the fake ones. To me, this one, I can't tell just by looking at it that it's fake. But it's not testing right on the Sigma machine. So we're gonna pull this one up and look at it. So anyway, if you guys are watching this, 6:30 Pacific. No, that's not right. 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific is going to be the live stream on Monday. I'm going to have some special guests there. If you guys want to come up and you want to point people to your YouTube channel, send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. In the subject, just put 10,000 party, 10K party. I want to come up or something like that. Give me a note. The only thing I ask is you guys do a giveaway. And I'll have a little section for us to do that of the night. So if you're a little channel, you're just getting started, you want to give away a silver round, I'll have you come up. I got to check your thing out first, though. I got to make sure it's not a crazy channel. But as long as everything looks good, we'll have you come up and we'll do that little free, advertising for you. I guess it's not totally free. You're giving away some silver, but you're not giving it to me. You're giving it to someone in the community. So you'll be getting a new friend that way. My face looks fake. I know, it's totally fake. Water of the Possibilities dropped a new video. You guys go check that out. All right, let's see. If we have lower rates, this is from Todd Wilson, won't we have inflation? If we have inflation, gold, silver continue to rise, okay? Rates has nothing to do with inflation. I'm sorry, guys, to tell you that. Also, tariffs have nothing to do with inflation. There's only one way you can ever create inflation, and that is by printing more fiat dollars, period. That's it. Anybody that says otherwise does not understand economics, or they're trying to mislead you. But to your point, Todd, let me tell you what that does do. So the reason that adding more dollars to the money supply creates inflation is because you now have more dollars to go around to find a home. And so I'll give you the example. If you happen to live in a city where there is, let's say, one BMW dealership and they have 10 cars, and those 10 cars are each worth $100,000. And the mayor of your city, and let's say there's 100 people in your city, okay? It's a small city, but you got a BMW dealership. People have money. And there's only 10 of those cars that are there, okay? And it's the only car dealership in the whole city. If you live there and that mayor decides, hey, guys, we just found a big, huge oil deposit underground, and we're going to give a bunch of the money back to the people of the city. So if everybody in that city were to be given $1 million per person, okay, all 1,000 people, there's only 10 BMWs to go get. I can tell you that those 10 BMWs are gone. People are going to go buy them. But what's going to happen very quickly is there's going to be a rush of a lot of people into that BMW dealership. And that BMW dealership's going to realize, maybe let's say he's got 100 people in there looking for one of those 10 cars. He's going to continue to raise his price up until the point that really only 10 people are there buying cars. So that could end up being a $500,000 for a car. That's how the inflation's created. Now, what Todd was talking about, because this is a really important point, guys, when we lower rates, we can see the effects of what's called price inflation, okay? It's not true monetary inflation. Price inflation can happen when in a local market, like California, for example, we had a stimulus a couple years ago for gasoline to help pay for all the expensive taxes the governor put on gasoline, which no one voted for, but somehow we all did, even though we recalled it and then we voted for it 80%. I don't buy it. California has rigged elections. They gave it to everybody, including the guys with EVs. Okay, so they couldn't go buy gas with it because they have EVs. There was some localized inflation going on in the California market because everybody had this extra $500. So when you lower rates down, a couple things happen. One, more people can afford to borrow more, okay, because the rate goes lower. People decide that they can first they can borrow more. Okay, it opens up to that. The next thing that happens is the financing charges they're currently paying on loans goes down, which gives them a little bit more money to do things. And they may start to go buy more products. It's the same thing with tariffs. They may start to go to buy fewer products if the tariffs come into play. That's only going to affect prices short term. It doesn't really cause long-term inflation. I know a lot of people say that, but it doesn't really do it. All right, let me see what else you guys have. Joseph Lopez found a silver quarter worth of $5. I think he found that in the machine at Walmart. The Doge wants to shut down the San Francisco Mint. That's interesting. If they do that, anything you have in the San Francisco Mint is going to be worth more money, guys. So if you want to take a bet on that, you might want to go find some San Francisco Mint stuff. Wes Stefan said, if you have more than $2K to put into metals, buy gold. I don't know. I kind of feel like if you have less than 10,000 to put into metals, buy silver. That's kind of my gut. But your silver is going to sit around for a while. I do think it's going up a lot higher. I haven't made my projection video yet for the year, but from everything I'm seeing, it looks like we have a decent probability of going from say $3,000 gold right now to $35,000 to $4,000 gold. So we could have that, and if that happens, I think you're going to see the ratio go down to 70 to 60 potentially this year. If you see that on silver, and that will pull the silver up to 50 to 70 bucks. So you'll get a better bang for your buck with the silver than you will with the gold. But I could be wrong. The silver may linger still, guys. Here's the thing, though. Why are you buying it? If you're buying gold and silver to make money, you may not want the physical stuff. You may want to go play in the mining companies, or you may want to go buy the paper stuff. It's much more liquid. You don't have the premiums you're paying. And I'm not recommending you go do that, but I'm just saying if you're trying to make a bunch of money off this, that's kind of where you go play that stuff. I don't recommend doing that. If that's what you're trying to do, go look at crypto. You can make money off crypto even in a down market, because these things go up and down so fast. It's very volatile. If you have no gold and you have no silver and you have 2,000 bucks, personally, if that were my case, and not financial advice, by the way, if that were the case for me, I would probably look at buying like 1/10 ounce piece of gold for around 330 bucks. And the rest of it I would probably buy in constitutional silver. And I would try to get the constitutional silver to around $23 to $24 face. That's what I would do. If I had $5,000, I would look at maybe getting a half an ounce of gold at the most, and the rest silver. If I had $10,000, I might look at getting 1 ounce of gold and the rest in silver. But here's my philosophy on it. I like to have 1 ounce of gold for every $50,000 in net worth I have, okay? And I buy my silver for barter and for trade. I buy a little bit of silver for speculation. And the stuff I buy for speculation, that's either in bars or like silver eagles. And that stuff I buy for like a 5 or 10 year hold, and I plan on flipping it no matter what. So I'm not buying real estate right now. I think real estate's going to have some kind of a correction, or we're going to see gold and silver go much higher than real estate for a while. So I may go buy a big chunk of silver coins and put it away, and know that I'm going to flip that in the near future to put into real estate. So that's an example. But gold and silver is a 3 to 5 year hold minimum. And I would try to give yourself at least 10 years. And in those cycles, you're going to have opportunities to buy higher than what you normally buy it at. Now, with that said, we're going into a super cycle right now. We're going to see gold and silver go up, up, up. I'm going to show you guys some charts on Monday, and one of them that's really impressive shows that if I had sold my house last year and put all my money into gold, okay, and I had that gold still today, my house would be worth a lot more today. My net worth would be worth a lot more today than it is. And so what's happening is our houses priced in gold are going down, the value of our houses right now. So we've made the money in the house. A lot of people have had it double. That's not going to happen right now. We're going to see gold and silver double. And here's the key. There's going to be a point where whatever you're not holding on to for like your deep stack, you're going to want to sell it. Like, we're selling this stuff at some point. I know a lot of you guys are like, stack, stack, stack. It's going to just keep going up forever. There'll be a point where the economy gets fixed enough and there's enough prosperity going on. People don't really want the gold as much. And they got to fix the monetary system. So there may be a gold backing that's going on at that time. But when we get to that point, so what I'll show you on Monday, we're talking, somewhere between 4 and say 6 to 7 years from now, we could see gold sitting at $8,000 to $12,000 an ounce. And it's going to hit a top. And that's where it does this capital rotation right now. And it's going to start to capital rotate out of the gold again into the stock market. And when that happens, you'll do better if you sell some of your gold and silver. So I know a lot of you guys are just fixated on gold and silver. You're never going to sell it, but it is money. So you want a base in it, right? I will never go below, I think, 5% of my net worth in precious metals because I do believe in them very strongly. But I may go as high as 20 or 30% when there's fear in the market, or I know fear is going to be coming into the market because the monetary system's all screwed up, or we have a ton of inflation. I see gold as inflation hedge. I see it as wealth protection, wealth insurance. And then I see silver for bartering, and I see it as potential speculation play. You know, I don't know. Now I'm just ranting. Food storage. You want food storage, guys. You can't eat the gold and silver. Annie Oakley picked up a good deal. That's awesome. All right, let's see if we got... Oh, they're not shutting the mint down. They're shutting down the offices. Okay. All right. Losing my voice. All right, guys. So real quick, I want to look at the comments here real quick on some of them. I may pull them out real quick. Mr. and Mrs. West Texas Stacker feel like they're new. I think they've been on here for a year. That's a long new, man. Richard Nixon, yeah, I actually live in his hometown. Okay, let's see what else we got. Okay, so just to remind you guys, Monday, lots of gold and silver gauze, 3:30 p.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. I'm going to have some cool guests on. Some of them are from massively big channels, and their channels, a lot of them, their channels are a lot bigger than mine. If you guys have a channel, you're trying to get started, you want to have a little shout out, send me an email. We might be able to get you on Monday or maybe another live stream later in the week. I want to help you guys. My only ask is that you do a gold or silver giveaway. Actually, don't do a gold, do a silver giveaway. And don't do a massive, crazy one. You can give away a couple quarters, a couple dimes. But make it fun. It'll bring some people over to you. Chef LA Stacker said, Chef Stacker LA said, Lady Liberty doesn't have enough of a bust to be real. At least not in California. I think everybody's fake here. I mean, I'm just calling it how I see it, guys. IPOs and dividends. So I've made some good money on IPOs in the past. Dividend stocks are killer. The only problem with dividend stocks is you've got to look and see where you're buying them in the cycle. So, you know, the time to buy dividend stocks was in late 2021. That's when everything was starting to shift, and we were having a kind of a market correction. There were great prices, and then you had an opportunity at the bottom of, or kind of the middle of 2022 to buy them again. I haven't bought any recently, so you'd have to go check them out. If you like gold and silver and you think it's going up and you want a dividend stock, you can go get Newmont, and you can go get I'm forgetting the other one, the two big gold miners. That's really bad. My brain's fried, guys. I've been in DC all week, working like a dog, and flying 6 hours back and forth, and my brain's kind of, I haven't had a lot of sleep. Yeah, the Coast Guard yells at everybody. All right, I'm kind of going backwards on your notes, guys, so let's see what we can do here. Oh, on the silver, I think the test that it failed was the Sigma analytics machine. So we're going to get that out. I'm going to show you guys my Sigma, and we're going to get that out and talk about it. Honestly, if any of you guys are at the point now where you have, I'll just make a number up, $20,000 in precious metals, go get a Sigma machine. You're buying enough. You probably need to consider testing it. Now, that's if you're going to keep buying. if all you're going to buy is, $20,000 or less of metals, I don't think you need one. You can always take your stuff to a LCS and they'll test it for you. They'll be happy to do that. If you get up to 20,000 and now you're planning on moving towards 100,000 in metals, get a Sigma machine, okay? And if any of you guys have $100,000 in metals and you don't have a Sigma machine and you don't have a safe that weighs at least 1,500 pounds, that's fire rated, that has a metal wall, concrete, metal, or steel, and isn't bolted down, you are at risk of having your stuff stolen. All right? Okay, Space Miner mentioned something about investing here real quick. Okay, let me hit that in a second. All right, you guys had a lot of ones, and I don't even remember what I asked. Shoot. All right, I want to hit Space Miner real quick, and then I'll look at the newer ones coming in here too. Yeah. Okay, so safes real quick, and then we're going to hit the investment. Here's the deal with safes. Your gun safe is not a security safe. It is not meant for metals. If you happen to live in a place like I do where I could have my house burned down from a forest fire in California, a gun safe, your metals are going to get scorched in that thing. Your paper will turn into ash because it'll get so hot. And any looter that goes up there will be able to open that thing with a crowbar. Okay? I'm just telling you, it's going to be easy for them to get into it. Do not think a gun safe is good. Now, there are some gun safes you can buy out there that are safety rated, okay? And those safety ratings start to happen when they have the steel, concrete steel construction. Their front doors will be super hard to break into, and their other sides will still take you quite a bit of time. There's going to be dividers inside the safe. When someone goes to break into a safe, they're going to drill a little hole and see how far they can get in until they see it. And depending on how you place your safe, you can put metals on one side of those safes and you can put guns on the other side. And if you put it in the right corner, you can make it so that the only way for them to really drill into the thing, especially if you bolt it down, which you should always do, they're going to have to drill it where the guns are. And they're going to see rifles and they're going to see guns there. And anyway, they're not going to be able to get into things. Another trick here for you guys with safes. If you go to an LCS or you go on to like AppMex or SD Bullion, you can go buy old monster boxes that are opened and you can put your coins into tubes, okay? Take them out of all the capsules. If you're not showing them off to everybody, get your crap out of the capsules, guys. I know everybody puts them in capsules. You're adding the buck cost. It's a waste of money. Put them in the tubes, put them in the monster box, and then seal that monster box with a bunch of tape, or you can wrap it and you put it in there. That's going to make it that much harder for someone if they break into your safe and put a hole in the side of your safe to pull a whole monster box out that weighs, I don't know, 25 pounds or whatever it is. I can't do the math. You guys do the math. What is 500 times 500 divided by 16? What is that? They're not going to be able to pull it out until they get a massive hole in the safe, right? They're going to have to put a huge hole. So you can make it really hard for them to do that. The only risk you really run into with a safe at your house is if someone knows it's there, they put a gun to your head, and they say, oh, open the combination. You're going to open the combination, and if everything you own's in there, it's probably gone. You're not going to be able to insure that. That's going to be your biggest risk. So you want to hide the safe. You don't want it to be in a place that they're going to find easily. You don't want to tell people you have it. If you're starting to get up into the 100,000 plus range, you probably want to start vaulting some of it off site. I can tell you if everything goes to crap and you have $100,000 of metals in your house and you've got another 400,000 in a vault facility you can't even get to because everything's falling apart, your 100,000 is still going to be worth so much money, you're going to be like the king. So, don't overly worry. Okay, 31 pounds. So 31 pounds is going to be this box. They're not going to be able to lift that out. So think three-dimensionally, four-dimensionally, three-dimensionally. Not time, but think three-dimensionally on how you're going to put that stuff together. A great place to store your metals that no one's going to find, except for maybe your kids will throw it away, is in the pantry. Put it in a box in the pantry underneath a bunch of cereal. Don't put a ton of them in there because cereal's not going to weigh like a pound. But you can do that. People aren't going to find that stuff, okay? But whatever you do, do not store your metals, do not store your cash in your master bedroom, in your master closet. Go get a fake safe, put it in the master closet, fill it up with a bunch of copper coins so it sounds like crap's rattling in there. You know, maybe throw a couple $100 in there in 20s, put an Apple AirTag in it, and you know, maybe bolt it down, but not super great. Let people go work on that thing. Let them, you know, waste their time on that. If you've got a lot of metals, Richard, and you have 100,000 at home in metals, and you have a couple 100,000 at another vaulting facility, if there's no electricity, no one's opening it. If it's just not safe to go out for right now, it'll be safe again later in the future, so you'll be able to go get access to it at some point. I wouldn't overly worry about that. The key is you want to have some stuff at home that you can use in emergencies. But if you're storing $500,000, $1 million worth of metals at your house, unless you live out in the middle of nowhere and you built the safe yourself and you didn't have a massive safe delivered by someone, or you got multiple safes in hiding places, you just don't want to put everything at risk if someone comes to your house. Dirty man safe can work. In my opinion, I only do it for gold. You put silver in the ground, you're going to screw it up. Even in one of those with plastic can, you know, degrade. Gold, you can just throw it in there. It's going to be fine. Now, where I live, I can blow my nose and have it hit my neighbor's house pretty much. I got a strong nose blower. Big nose. You guys hit the double tap thumbs up if you haven't done it. So, where I live, houses are so close to each other. And I think I'm on like a 5,800 square foot lot, and that's a big house, like a big lot around where I live. That's about how much square footage you can get. And if you happen to live on a quarter acre or a half acre, you're like a multimillionaire. Your house is like $5 million or more. So, and if you've got like an acre, you're like a $10 million house, maybe a $36 million house, that kind of stuff. There's some houses in San Clemente that are down by the beach where Nixon has his estate down there. It's been sold a couple times. $36 million, and I think it's on 5 acres by the beach. That's a lot of money.
On the north side of the pier, standing right here.
So he's on the
north
north
side.
side.
This is a bad spot to be today. For your safety, so you don't get pulled down in the rip current. Move down the beach towards the open lifeguard tower number 4.
Rip currents. So
waist deep water in this area.
These guys are hurt.
Safe. Thank you.
If you see surfers surfing waves and you don't know how to swim, stay on the chair on the beach. Don't go in the water. If you're getting pulled out into the water and it feels like you're going further out, swim to the side, on your back, only kicking. Okay? Float. Kick on the back and you'll get out of the rip current. The only time you're really screwed is when it's an undertow and it's pulling you down under the water. But they're currents, they go somewhere. Just stop fighting it, hold your breath, and let it take you where it's going. I don't know. Surfing 101, guys. Old paint cans in the garage, that's good. Feminine hygiene boxes. No one wants to look in those things. Those are gonna be good too. So, all right, we'll kind of wind this down a little bit because I gotta go work on some other stuff. I'll give you my advice real quick on life in general when it comes to this kind of stuff. I'm going to start with the investing stuff. My favorite investment of all time is real estate. And the reason I love real estate is because it typically goes up in value, just the property and the dwelling itself over time. You're usually going to be able to sell it for more than you bought it for. Number 2, you get to create something. I studied a lot of architecture in high school and thought I was going to be an architect. Even got some scholarships for college and then decided to go into advertising and marketing. because I didn't want to do math. And I'll just tell you a quick aside. When I got to my master's program in Northwestern, I had already got my apartment for a 1-year lease, maybe a 2-year lease. And we'd already moved all our stuff to Chicago from Utah. And I had just moved from Manhattan to Utah for 2 months while we were waiting for Northwestern to start. And I go to my first day of class and they tell us that we're going to have 5 classes of advanced statistics. And I thought, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? If you guys ever have a question on statistics, I'll answer that for you. I know way too much about it. And I'll also tell you, anything that someone tells you is a fact based on stats, if you give me the data, I can prove them wrong. You can do anything you want with the numbers. It's all about how you look at it, the angle, and the way you cut it. All right, going back. Real estate, I love it because you make money from holding it and you make money from cash flowing it by renting it out to other people. What I won't do anymore, and I used to do this quite a bit, is I bought raw land and I would just sit there and hold on to it. And it can be really good, but the problem is you start to potentially get HOA fees, you have property taxes, and unless it's farmland with really, really low property taxes, I would not hold land out there. I've held building lots where you put a house on it, and I've held commercial real estate. I won't do that again because it's too expensive. Your carrying costs are too expensive, and you get stuck into some bad situations there. But real estate's my favorite. To me, real estate's always a 10-year hold. And the reason for that is you're most likely getting it back to whatever cycle you bought it in. So if you bought a house in 2006 and it crashed, if you held it for 10 years to 2016, you're probably pretty close to what you paid for it, all right? If you bought a house in 2010 and you waited into 2020, your house doubled in price most likely, or came close to, maybe it did in 2021. Real estate, number one. You got to buy that right kind of real estate. I don't do single family homes anymore, and I don't do single family home rentals because they're a pain in the butt, and I want to deal with them. So if I'm doing any residential, it's going to be apartment complexes or hotels. The other one I like is self-storage units, they're really cool. Mobile home parks are good, but they have to be large enough to have a property manager, and then you've got to potentially take on partners. So that's real estate. Second thing that I like to do, and this could probably be number one, is build businesses. I like to create and I like to build value. And when I do that, I can make some good money. My best investment of all time is starting a business with my brother-in-law started the business. I wanted to start it first. It was something his dad brought up. So my wife's brother. And I got busy with school and he started the company. I was kind of bummed about it. And then a few years later, he asked me to come in and buy half of it for a very small amount of money. And I did, and that's my best investment I've ever had. I have to go calculate it, but it was something like 60,000% return on my investment. And it blew my mind. Unfortunately, the company that bought it a couple years ago is an Amazon business. We had the top selling jar opener on Amazon, kitchen utensil stuff. The company still owes us a ton of money and went bankrupt on us. And I think they did that on purpose to protect their butts because they overpaid it. But businesses are great. Okay, third, you can do a lot by doing things in the stock market, but you got to understand the stock market. You got to buy it right. Stocks can have a much shorter time period of ROI on them. Dividend stocks are really good because they always keep paying out. And you can kind of understand what your rate of return is going to be on those. High-tech stocks can pay off tremendously. I worked at Adobe for a long time. I work for another tech company now. And, I was getting Adobe stock at $20 a share, and Adobe stock got up to like $700. Do the math on that one. Now, I sold a lot of it way before it hit 700 because I wanted to put a backyard in my house for my kids, and I didn't want to go into a lot of debt. Now, part of me says that was the wrong move because if I had gone into debt, I would have easily been able to pay that off and buy a couple Ferraris, and I didn't. But I also like not to be into too much debt. So be smart about that too. Maybe you go half and half. There were other reasons I couldn't really do the debt thing right then. I'd have to probably wait another year and a half. My wife really wanted the kids to be able to play in the backyard. I get it. Happy wife, happy life. Ferraris never did anybody any good, or Lambos. So when Kenshi comes on here, I could have had Lambos. I just didn't do it. Plus, they break down all the time. Mining stocks. I do have some mining stocks. I've been sorely disappointed in them because I don't hold them long enough. I bought some like 2 or 3 years ago, and if I held them, I'd be up about 20% right now. But I just didn't have the patience for it. I ended up putting it into precious metals, but I did buy some mining stocks last week. A bunch of them were up about 10 to 18%. Now they're up 3%. Some of them are underwater. So I'm just going to keep dollar cost averaging on the mining stocks. I will be probably setting up what I'm investing in, which mining stocks and how much, and you guys can follow my investments. I think that's going to be coming up next week. I'm going to probably sign up for that service. It is a paid service. Some of it goes to me, some of it goes to the platform. But that is more like financial advice that's being given out there. So I got to make sure that I can cover myself legally through that site, that it works and how they disclose it. But I do plan on sharing that with you guys. All right, let's see here. Yeah, hit the thumbs up if you guys haven't done so. Everything gives me stress. I'm losing. I have a lot of hair. You guys probably say I have a ton of hair, but I've lost half my hair in the last 5 years from stress, and my hairline was down here. It's already receded a bunch, and I've got a few gray hairs. And I feel bad because there's a lot of you that want hair back and you don't have it. But to someone that is not very tall, you guys will have to guess my height. Maybe we'll play that as a game for Monday. I'm not a very tall dude, and so I never got to slam dunk a ball or anything playing basketball. I feel like I got to at least have some good hair. But now it's starting to come out a little bit. It's freaking me out. Sonny, that's pretty cool about the building. Yeah, so like when I was in high school, I did this. I did a lot of architectural drawings by hand, and then the renderings, the outside, and then I did CAD. We were doing it on 286 computers, and then senior year we got 386 computers. If you guys remember those, and we got to do that. All right, so let's see what you guys think is very tall or not very tall. I guess I can tell you here now too. We might play the game later, and then you guys might have the answers. So I'm somewhere between 5'6" and 5'7". It depends on how I'm feeling, but I think I'm like officially somewhere around 5'6" and a half or something like that. Gravity's always working against me on that one. So I go to the chiropractor and try to have him pull me really far to try to get to that 5'7". Yeah, I was pretty ADD and ADHD as a kid. My parents put me on a ton of crap, and maybe that stunted my growth. My growth plate said I should have been about 5'8", 5'9". My son, he's 5'11", so there's some hope there. So we are thinking about moving out of California. If I do that, I don't know if I'll keep the channel Stacking Surfer. We'll call it something else. If I do one of the options, we're going to get us a farm and basically be city slickers trying to figure out a farm. And if I do that, I'm going to do a homesteading channel and help you guys know how to homestead and do that stuff, because that could be kind of cool. And if we don't do that, then the channel may just change because there won't be probably very many beach days. I love it here. I don't want to move out of my town. It's super conservative. It's more conservative than probably most of your towns. And at the same time, we've got access to everything. That's the problem here. I'm like 30 to 35 minutes away from an airport. Disneyland in 40 minutes. That's where everybody wants to go that comes from out of state. Hour and 10 minutes from LA, an hour and 10 minutes to San Diego. I'm only a few minutes from the beach, and I can get out to the desert in the wintertime if I want to, and I can go skiing in about an hour and a half. Or I can jump on an airplane, go to Utah, and do even better skiing in about 2 hours. It's an awesome place to live here. The problem is the property taxes are super expensive. Our gas is almost $5. Basically, take whatever you pay for and multiply it by 1.33, and that's how much everything costs here. So, you know, just between my natural gas and my electricity, I'm $1,000 a month, and I don't have a pool, and I don't live in a mansion. I have a good sized house, but it's not a mansion. It's just a track home. You know, every fourth home looks exactly like mine. If I can get out of here though and take some of my money and put it into other investments, that could be wise. I don't think we're going to see real estate jump up as much as other stuff. Okay, so we talked about business, real estate, stocks. Okay, you know, another investment I'm looking at is gold and silver as an investment. And what I'm learning about that is there's a couple different ways to do that. I've shared that on the channel. One way to do it is by just buying bullion. So that's just buy your regular bars, okay, generic bars, nothing fancy. So you're not buying from one of the fancy places online. You're just buying the cheapest you can find. One of the best places to find that is local. We're finding silver and gold here locally, and we're able to buy it at about 4 to 5% back spot. Okay, that's what we're buying at. It doesn't mean I can get everything that way. If I want gold eagles, I'm not buying them that way. But if I'm willing to buy whatever someone has, I can do that. So if you're just buying it to have the weight, go for the cheap stuff. If you're worried about confiscation, go with pre-33 gold. If you're worried about EMPs and end of the world stuff and Armageddon and all that, and you believe you're going to be bartering with other people, constitutional or junk silver is great, as well as eagles. That's what I would do for that. If you're in Canada, I would get Maple Leafs, and if you're in Britain, I'd get Britannias. Australia, get the Kangaroos, and in South Africa, I'd get the Krugerrands. Okay. If you're anywhere else, get what's close to you. Is going to be most familiar. Right now is a great time to get pre-33. I bought a bunch of it 3 years ago, and my pre-33 is mostly the same price. Some of the coins have gone up, some of them have gone down a little bit, but it's almost like the same price. I'm totally bummed about that. That ended up costing me a ton of money because if I had bought bullion, I could trade that bullion now. I'd have maybe, I'm not going to say, I'd have a lot more bullion, and I could trade that into pre-33 right now. Now, eventually, holding those coins will pay off. It'll make it up, but you know, we don't always time things right. If you like pre-33 at all, go get that right now. This is a good time to do it. So I'm actually looking at taking my Krugerrands I have and flipping them with Andy Scheckman from Miles Franklin. If you want to reach him, info@milesfranklin.com, and just in the title and in the body, just tell him Stacking Surfer sent me. He'll hook you up. They've got great deals there. Their prices are better than the online bullion dealers that everybody talks about. I've seen better prices than JM, SD, Scottsdale, AppNex. He's beaten all that stuff for me and my dad. And then I can usually get a little bit better discount because I have him on my channel a lot. He'll do a little bit of a friends and family there. But if you guys are coming off the channel, he'll give you a good deal too. That's that. I like Silver Eagles the most. And the reason for that is it's the easiest thing to move. It always has a premium on top of other stuff. The only time it may not have a premium is if we get to a point where we're only using silver as money and somehow everybody goes and crafts a bunch of weight scales so everybody has them, because there's not going to be electronics working if this is the situation. And somehow everybody goes and builds all these scales, which I don't think they're going to have to start with. Maybe they'll go off weight, but I think they're probably going to go off coin. And if you've got a nice silver eagle that is in a capsule or in a flip and it isn't all gnarly, I guarantee you'll get more goods and services for that than if someone gives a, you know, nasty looking buffalo. So, you know, there's opinions out there. My opinion is weight's good, but it's not everything. And, you know, I'll just use the Libertads, for instance. Libertads go for more than an eagle does. And there's a reason for that. There's more demand for them and they're harder to find. The last time I bought Silver Eagles was a couple weeks ago, and I paid $35.70 per Silver Eagle. I have a hard time paying over $30 for a Silver Eagle, personally. Most of the ones I've bought have been below that. This one was a hard purchase, and it's probably the last Eagles I'm buying for at least maybe 6 months to a year. I have a hard time paying over $35 for them for sure, and I have a hard time paying over 30. Over 40 is kind of it's a hard one for me to do. I'll probably be doing more like bars right now. I have a hard time paying that much for them. But hey, if you don't have any of them, you know, it's not a bad price. They've been higher. Yeah, when I buy, guys, I'm either buying like 4 to 5% below spot, or I'm buying in bulk. And when I say bulk, I'm buying in bulk. And when I buy in bulk, the price comes way down. So I can, you know, save like $1, $1.50, sometimes $2 off of what a single coin is going to run. All right, so that's kind of the coin stuff. I do have some fun pours. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I have too much Star Wars stuff. Like Death Stars that are fun, that are like this big and round and cool, but way overpaid for that. I've got a golf ball that's 12 ounces. We're gonna go play with that pretty soon at the golf course, make some videos. But gold and silver is another good one. Cryptos can be an okay investment, but it's a highly risky investment. It's like buying penny stocks. So I don't recommend, my eyes are getting fried, we're gonna do this. All right, I don't recommend buying cryptos unless you know what cryptos are. You understand what their purpose is. You understand that they can all go to zero. None of them really do anything except for ones that are tied to a specific company that do a specific DeFi type thing. So they do some kind of finance mechanism. And even with those, it's the price, okay? A lot of these things have function and they do things, and they can make process better. But what are they worth? Are they worth a penny, or are they really worth like $100? I don't know. It's whatever someone's willing to pay it for. And if it's a hot coin and someone's really looking after it, the problem you run into is it could be hype that goes away and you're stuck with a bag and you lose all this money. So if you're doing cryptos, only do them if you know what you're doing. You got to research it really heavily, and only put money in you can lose, okay? Be careful. There's a lot of people that FOMO'd into things like XRP and XLM at close to $3 for XRP, and I think XLM was about 60 or 70 cents. And they're way under right now. All right, don't do that. I've got some cryptos. I'm still positive. I could go sell it all today, right now, even with it being down, and I'll make thousands of dollars. Be very careful, okay? My cryptos are only in companies that I see as a startup company that has a lot of value, or they're in a couple utility coins that I think are going to go really well. I don't just put it into Bitcoin. I'll put it into silver and gold before I do that. Now, all of us could look at Bitcoin and say, I wish I found out about it at 600, 800 bucks. I wish I did buy some of that and I turned it into gold later. I didn't do that. So I could be wrong. These things could explode and go up. But in my opinion, we're going to start walking out. In my opinion, it's something you need to, if you're going to touch, dabble in it, don't go crazy. If you're a big tech guy and you understand this stuff really well, sure, go for it. If you're a trader, maybe. But that's enough of that. What are some other things you can invest in? You can invest in jewelry. That's gold and silver too. You can do things like your 401k. If you've got matching, you can do that. My 401k with my company sucks. It's horrible. It's all tech stocks. So I'm watching it very closely, and I'll probably have to move it all into basically a cash money market fund pretty soon here. What else could you guys do? Oh, another good one to invest into is water. Have water. If we get into any really crazy bad situations, you got to have water. You're dead in 3 days. And then food, you can kind of go 2 weeks, I guess. I think you would be really miserable. But get, 30-year shelf life, freeze-dried emergency food. Have some of that stuff. And then you gotta have cash, okay? And you might think cash is not a good investment, but without cash, you're not going to be picking up gold and silver 5% below spot. Usually, everybody wants cash. And sometimes when things go down drastically, like cryptos right now, if you used all of your money up and you don't have any cash, you can't buy at lower prices. So sometimes cash can actually be kind of an investment, loosely. All right, guys, any other questions you have? I'm going to head down to, I gotta go do a little bit of shopping for the family here in a minute. So if you got any other questions, throw it in there real quick. Also, last thing I'll put about my channel, we're doing the 2-year anniversary, the 10,000 subscriber party on Monday, 3:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. And there'll be gold and silver giveaways. Let everybody know about it. I'm hoping to have this be the most watched video would be awesome. And if any of you have channels and you want to come up on that video or on that live stream or another one, send me an email, stackingsurfer@gmail.com. My only ask is that you do a giveaway, and then we'll showcase your channel, try to help you guys out. All right, let's see. Will Nick be there? I don't know. I need to talk to her and see, but I'm pretty sure this is the date she said she couldn't do it. So I'll have to see, check with her tonight, maybe in the morning. I might do a little video shout out to everybody with her, but I don't think she can make it. And then I've been so busy with work stuff, and even Friday got crazy where I haven't been able to confirm everything I want to. So it'll be fun, but we'll do what we can for that live stream, and then we'll get some other stuff set up too for other people. All right, let's see what else you guys got. What do I think about the current political situation? I don't know what you mean by that. The only thing I'll comment on from a political standpoint is how things are affected by the market and the markets and let's say economic stuff. We have a country that basically was taken over by what I would call the deep state or the global banking cartel or the families, if you guys want to get into that stuff. 1913, they figured out how to actually get Woodrow Wilson to push things. They got a central bank in finally that worked, and they were able to get in income tax. And they basically took the tariff system away to make it so that the people in the country were going to be able to basically be put more into checks and balances through the IRS. And that's when the IRS came. In my opinion, we've been held hostage that entire time and basically manipulated, and the amount of wealth that people have in this country has been stripped out. So when I look at the political landscape, what I find to be interesting right now is that President Trump seems to be surrounding himself around with a lot of business people. It's going to be a little bit rough for those of you that might be in government jobs because they don't exactly understand how government works and they don't exactly agree with it. And to some degree, maybe government should function a little bit more like business. In other areas, it can't. It's a little different when you're dealing with citizens versus customers. They're similar in a lot of ways, in other ways they're not. So what I'm hopeful for is that we see a lot of waste get cut. I'm hopeful that we get a lot of efficiencies created and that we start to automate more. So the team I work with at my company is also the government team, and that's why I was in DC. And most of them are very liberal, and they've been very concerned about this new president. Not very happy about it. I don't know if they want Kamala Harris or not, but they definitely hate Trump. However, they're starting to change their tune. They were really afraid that it'd be hard to sell anything to the government. Well, we sell AI software that creates automation, and it makes everything work better. It's perfect for Doge. And so I think my teams are starting to look at that thinking, actually, this might be a huge windfall for the company. So when I look at it politically, I would say I think we have a massive opportunity right now, first time in over 100 years, to get this country back to creating wealth for people. And if you happen to be liberal, if you don't like Trump or you don't understand everything that's going on, I tell you to hang in there a little bit. We might have some rough times with the tariffs. We're going through some transitions. You can't stop income tax and put the tariffs on all at the same time. You got to find places to save some money, keep the same amount of money coming in, and then you've got to go out and find ways to make more money through the tariffs. And then from there, as that money starts coming in, we'll see if they're real about it. If they really care about us, then they'll start to lower the income tax down. And that'd be great because I'm like 38% tax bracket. It sucks. And then state, I'm like another 10%. Sometimes I'm at 12 or 13% state. And so, there's nothing more discouraging than selling a business and having 50% of it go away to paying state, federal, and tithing. Now, I don't have a problem paying tithing, but I'm just saying going through that, 50% of it's gone. That makes it a lot harder to want to sell the business, and it makes it a lot harder for me to go and invest in another business. And it's not like I'm taking that money and trying to go buy like crazy cars or something. It's just one business is done and we're moving on to another one, and I have to take a massive hit like that. Now, there are some ways to kind of get around that, but it costs a lot of money. Unless you're selling a business for like $10 million or more, it's not worth it. And I haven't had that one yet, but I think we're going to see some really good things come out of this presidency. The big question is going to be what happens in 4 years. Will we keep doing it? The other big question is are we going to return back to gold standard, and are we going to fix the monetary system? And it's possible to do that. I would prefer we do it before the BRICS does it because it's less painful. But then we could have some other issues. I'm hoping the BRICS does do their thing because it forces our hand into doing it, and it will be rough. But I think we've got enough resources to basically outdo it. So that's all I will say on that. So that's what I put out there. As far as politics go, I'm someone that likes the Constitution of the United States. I like that thing. I think it was inspired by God, and I think we need to use it and follow it better. And so, but President Trump's not a constitutionalist. He's a business guy. He's a negotiator. I'm hoping as we get these other things fixed, we start going back more to the Constitution and following it. And I hope the Supreme Court will be honorable enough to start upholding it. The presidency has too much power. We have all these organizations that are formed by cabinet that are not voted in, and that's what Trump's cleaning up now. Once he cleans it up, I hope we figure out a better way to deal with them. Executive orders are out of control. He's using it to his advantage right now. They're supposed to be during wartime when Congress can't meet. That's it. Way out of control. And then Congress is completely corrupt. So until you can get people out of there with term limits, until you can get rid of insider trading and make it so they can't do any investing whatsoever, all of that has to be done by a third-party company where they do an irrevocable trust. And that trust is being managed by a firm that's being audited on a quarterly basis, which is probably another organization in the government to do that. That's how you keep the crooks out, and you put people in that actually care about the government because they're going in there to do civil service. We haven't had that for a long time. But you do that, we create the best country on the planet again. So I think we can get there. All right, guys. Thank you, everybody. Let's see. He does need to do those orders. What I'm saying is when things are abused and they create a mess, sometimes you use those things to fix it. Once we use those things to fix it, we've got to get rid of those loopholes, and you got to tighten it up so it can't be abused again. That's what I'm saying. I think you guys would probably understand that. Judges, the judges are horrible, man. Judges are way screwed up, so we got to get rid of that too. All right, guys, until next time, peace out. Thank you. Come check me out on Monday.